Anybody heard from Kevin?
One for Susan.
Oh, thank you. I'll call to order the Sylvania Township Board of Trustees Emergency Meeting Friday, October 29, 2010 at 1 p.m.
Calling the roll, Mr. Genoway.
Here.
Mr. Haddad is absent. Mrs. Contrada.
Here. We will dispense with the Pledge of Allegiance. We are here specifically to discuss change orders for possible approval for Fire Station Number 2. We had to call this as an emergency meeting because we needed to have a decision sooner than the 24 hours during which we could have posted a special meeting. It is not an emergency other than in the sense that we have to make a decision so that we can continue to proceed on our construction schedule. So that's why we're here, and Chief Kowalski's here, and Mr. Stokes is here, and tell us what we need to decide.
I'm sorry for the rush. I've been working on getting all this information together on the relocation of the utility lines around the south side of the building, which is a change from the original drawings. And I just got the final information I needed yesterday, and at the same time, I get notified that there's an emergency because if we don't decide by today that there's going to be a delay in the schedule. I had no idea.
It's quite all right. These things happen on under construction, and like I said, emergency simply is a term of art under the Ohio Revised Code. And we can call that if it's an emergency in the sense that it would cost the township money.
Right.
But there's no life or limb at stake here. So,
Correct.
And we're here, and that's good. And in the future, because we had talked about meeting on Fridays at 1 o'clock, we should just post those as meetings. And then if we cancel them, we cancel them. Or it could be since. Mr. Haddad isn't here. I know Fridays can be difficult for John, and as we're going into the holiday season, maybe we want to look at a different day.
All right.
But don't worry about the word emergency. We just need to take action.
All right.
We need to do it in public.
Right.
So tell us what's going on.
Well, as you know, the original drawing showed the utilities running around the north side of the building, and they were noted, not shown really, but noted to be relocated. They need to be relocated because they run through the retention pond that we're putting in, and they also are underneath our building. So to move them further north was impossible because there was another retention area to the further north, and that blocked being able to move it that direction. So the decision was made some time ago by somebody, I wasn't involved at the time, to move the utilities around to the south side of the building. A new drawing was drawn by the engineer, and it was put out for pricing, and Transtar Electric, our contractor for the electrical, got a copy. Buckeye Cable, Toledo Edison, and Frontier Phone, who are all involved with the relocation, were given this drawing and asked what costs would be involved. And as a result, I've gathered the cost, and it's in front of you now. Transtar Electric is requesting $14,307.81. Buckeye Cable is requesting $9,596.85. Toledo Edison is requesting $2,231.38. And Frontier is asking for $10,614.26. And that total is $36,750.30.
Okay. And is this the full cost for all four, or is it a combination of a shared cost, or?
Well, it's full cost, although some of, for instance, Edison has pointed out that if something develops that isn't, or is unforeseen, they have the right to ask for more money.
I was hoping you were going to say they will pay for the unforeseen.
No.
Oh, okay.
Are you kidding? And also, if there's a credit, they'll give a credit, but I've never seen one.
Why does it cost so much to move the phone line?
I I have not investigated these costs. The biggest cost of the Frontier is there's a line, and if you go out to the site, you can see it draping down, and that big line has to be taken down and rerouted underneath the ground. And even though TransStar is running the conduit and making preparations, most of the work is, running the line and making the new connections is Frontier. And,
So we're not going to have any overhead wires?
Correct.
Because I was a little confused about that. There was an email update that referred to the phone line and raising it 18 inches.
Well, they came back and asked if they could just raise it to 18 feet to save.
Was it 18 feet?
And Kevin had said it wouldn't work. I don't know if I heard from you.
Actually, when he sent you that, I agreed, just said I agree with what, I don't perceive us driving underneath the lines with the ladder raised, but, there is a potential in storms and things if that drops a little bit and we bring a truck in that's a little bit higher than normal, I just hate to tear that down because then it's our thing to fix it.
So all utilities are now going to be underground?
Right.
Well, I really don't see any way around doing anything other than approving this and moving forward, and then after the fact, if we want to pursue any kind of mitigated damages with either the architect or the engineer for not having it as a part of our bid, we can do that.
Yeah, I don't know the history that far back, so I'll have to leave that to you to decide. I can help you, advise you if you get me up to speed, but I don't know how it happened.
Well, we're not exactly sure either.
When you look at the initial plans, I don't know if they've changed, but they are shown there. But there's really no comments about having to move them or anything like that. And I guess that has been my confusion as to, well, if they were there, how were people, adjusting for them, or how, what was their plans for them? And now that it is $36,000, it is kind of frustrating. Yes.
And no one wants to pony up. This is the classic, what were they thinking?
Yes.
So, we don't know.
But I think you're right. We just need to approve this and then maybe go after each of them, try to look at whose responsibility it would have been to bring this to our light at a sooner than this.
And by doing this approval right now today, what are you able to do today
I'll be able to go ahead and give the okay to TransStar Electric, which is the key to this, because they have to get busy and there's work involved on the site that they need to do. The relocations from the 3 utilities isn't for another month or so. It's just getting the conduits and the preparation done so that Midwest can proceed with putting stone and blacktop down.
so it's some site preparation? Okay.
So will a formal change order come through?
Yes.
Plus Russell later?
There'll be both. I was just informed, I'll talk to Vicki about doing purchase orders, because I guess there's technically, I should let her know as soon as possible. So I'll give a copy of this to Vicki and tell her to do purchase orders. Then I'll notify the architect to proceed with change orders to TransStar Electric. And Vicki will write purchase orders to Buckeye, Toledo, and Frontier. But I got to get some invoices. I've only got one real hard copy invoice. And they want invoices, so I have to get those yet.
Well, what I guess I was referring to is usually we had a actual document, what do you call it, a document from Cole plus Russell that would list this change order number.
Oh, right.
And then the board would approve that. That's what I wanted to make. Is that forthcoming,
Yes.
or is this going to take the place of that?
No, it'll be forthcoming.
AIA document, yeah.
So, but we would not need to reapprove it again.
No, somebody would have to
To
sign
sign
it.
it. Okay.
Right. So are we actually approving a change order now?
Yes, and then you could
But we don't have a number yet.
a number.
That you referred to a number for the change order.
No, but we can list all of this information in the body of the motion, and then just you could all
Okay,
need to sign it when it
let's
comes
try
out.
this, and we will put do you have this on your computer?
What?
This language?
No.
Okay, we'll have to drop this into one of our motion forms.
Did you have?
You want to try
No.
this?
I have one other question. Transtar Electric bid the project.
Correct.
I mean, I kind of understand Buckeye and Edison and Frontier coming in with, hey, this is what it's going to cost us. But why wouldn't have Transtar factored this into their building, into their estimate of price?
Some of it was, the only thing that you have on that drawing, the original drawing, is a note that says relocate the utility. They didn't say where. You know, so it's up for discussion and debate as to really what was covered in his bid.
Okay.
And I think the architect and engineer a little short on information, in my opinion, that put us in this situation. Now, the way I always looked at changes is that if you benefit from the change, it really isn't, you know, nobody else is liable for the cost. In other words, if you had a contract that included these chairs in front of me, and the architect showed 3 and you needed 4, you would pay for the 4th chair because you got the benefit of the chair. So it falls a little bit into that kind of a category, because had the engineer done the work, he would have shown it to be moved on the south side, and none of this would have come up. So you're getting the benefit of being on the south side. That's a benefit, but it's still something you have to have.
Yeah.
So you have to factor that into your decision making.
So, so the bid, if it had been properly shown, possibly Transtar's or anybody else's bid would have reflected the cost
Correct.
of moving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, you wanna try and roll with this? What motion are we on?
This will be 10-404, and then do you want to include in there to authorize me to sign it when it does come in, the formal
Yes.
document?
Yeah.
Take care of that.
All right, I would like to offer motion 10-404 for the approval of payment of $36,750.30 to the listed contractors or companies of Transtar Electric, Buckeye Cable, Toledo Edison, and Frontier Phone. When the official change order does come in, Susan, would you please sign off on that?
Second.
Calling the roll, Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mrs. Contrada?
Yes. And then, I know we're gonna look at a potential change order for, wing.
Yes, at our Friday meeting, you, Jeff, and myself were at a meeting where we discussed a list of changes for the plumbing. The net result of the changes was a deduct. You gave me the okay to proceed with it, but there's that matter of formally addressing it.
Since we're talking about change orders, do you see any reason not to vote on it now?
Yeah, I already
It seems to me
given
it
the-
all kind of came out that we netted a credit,
Correct.
okay? Hey, you had an opportunity to see, I think it was in an email attachment, but we haven't discussed it or anything. Do you want me to give this to you, then you can sign it?
It's done.
Okay, what motion are we on now?
405.
All right, I will offer motion 10-405, motion to accept a change order with Wing Plumbing via Midwest Contracting for changes in plumbing which involve eliminating stainless steel sinks, eliminating a restroom, adding floor drains, and adding a cutting board for a net deduction of $564. Said change order to be signed when it's prepared through, with the proper format.
Second.
Calling the roll, Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mrs. Contrada?
Yes.
Now, there are two other things that I was going to bring today, or I have brought today. One of them has to do with the proposal made by Comfort Systems regarding the ground source heat pump. And he was here at your public meeting, your last public meeting, and made some claims and suggestions. And as a result, the board decided that it would be referred back to the architect, JDRM Engineering, and myself to review a formal written proposal from him, and then you would make a decision. I have the response from JDRM, and they're really saying, as I have said, going verbally, is that we haven't got the knowledge. This is new stuff, and I don't have the knowledge to make a decision on it, to carry the liability of making a decision like this. And JDRM basically has sent a letter saying the same thing. They're not saying that we shouldn't do it, they're against it. We don't understand it. And there isn't enough information that we've been provided to educate ourselves to be able to understand it. So where we stand today is I can't find anybody to recommend it. Now, in talking with Kevin Haddad, he said that he had heard about this and recommended that Commercial Comfort find somebody to provide us with a recommendation, another engineer or perhaps a customer that they had. But that has not been forthcoming. I have not seen that. And this has to be decided very quickly because these pipes go underneath the blacktop. So this is site sensitive also. So here it is today. I followed through on what you said to do, and the answer is
The same.
I can't get anyone to take the liability.
Is this a decision that needs to be made today, or can it be made next Wednesday?
I think Wednesday's okay. The only problem that I have with Wednesday is having a subcontractor of Midwest Construction going around the process and coming directly to a board meeting, just a little bit unusual and inappropriate. Because he's making, you're talking directly to him. I don't think that's something a homeowner might do. When you have to make a decision of which furnace to put in your house, if you make the wrong decision, you blame yourself, nobody knows. But in this case, you need someone to accept this liability besides yourselves. It would not be advisable for you to hear another presentation and decide because it's a good idea without any basis of fact, or have an engineer or an architect assume the liability for that decision for you. That's what you're paying for.
So we don't know whether Commercial Comfort would take full responsibility of the system yet.
No, but what does that mean when they say full? You know,
Well,
how do I write
it's a
that?
big if here, yeah. Well, Tom, I'm with you. One of the challenges that we all face, and it's not just in the context of making this choice, but it's life its own self. So there's so much information on the internet, and there's really no way to validate it, to expert test it, short of, calling in the author of an article and taking expert testimony, under oath. And I think we have to be very careful that we've hired experts to protect the township in our decision-making. And It's whether or not we want to take the risk, despite the, there's no recommendation up or down from the people that we expect to do that. And I agree with you. I think the end run around the authorization process is not the wisest course of
I couldn't
action.
open up that door.
Nope. Well, John, do you want to make a decision now, or you want to hold off until Wednesday?
Let's hold off till Wednesday. There is somebody that I know personally, again, I don't think they're going to go on the record or anything, but I would like to bounce a few things off and just get a better understanding of it for myself. And, you know, it is difficult because I believe the technology in some of these areas, you know, is changing every day, and you'd hate to miss out on something that is available today that would be a better system. But on the same side, I mean, this has a long-range repercussion and a lot of liability here, and I'm not comfortable making that decision right now, and certainly.
Well, it's interesting that you said you weren't sure whether the person you know would be willing to come out and talk on the record. I went to the Lucas County Township Association zoning workshop yesterday, which was run by an attorney. And he had some very interesting cautionary comments about whenever we talk to people about zoning. And that's to be very careful about hearsay. And when we're taking a legislative action, which zoning is, and this has the potential of being it's an administrative action, but it could be challenged, or worse, we could have to sue someone and then defend our choice. If we've relied on what we've heard from somebody else, we've relied on hearsay that we would not be able to make our case based on that. So if you do have somebody who's an expert, I would encourage you to get him to stand up here and say what he has to say.
Okay.
And if he wants to, then I'd be worried. You know, I don't want to put anybody on the spot.
No.
But, you know, it made me feel a lot better. That was a good reminder
But
overall.
Even then, though, my experience was like in zoning, people would come and complain about traffic, and I couldn't hear that because what evidence do they have? What facts do they have to show me? What do they have in writing? Are they an expert in traffic? You know, and someone might come and out of the goodness of his heart say this is a good idea, but if he doesn't have the facts or something that you can file away, you're in trouble.
Well, and there was a lot more to that. How you listen to comments from the public was
Right.
really interesting. And the cautionary note again was that we should not consider that as evidence. If you want to bring in an expert, you know, like somebody from Lucas County Engineers who says the traffic will increase 30%, then we can draw conclusions based on that maybe the sound will increase, or that it has increased 30%.
Or that he's done some study.
Yes.
You know, he's just saying that the traffic's going to increase. Is it enough?
And I mean to doubt Kevin's enthusiasm. I'm enthusiastic about all this as well, but you know, to say refrigerant's better than glycol, I would like to have a glycol/refrigerant person say that. That would, I think, make it a lot easier. So let's hold off and see if we can get, and you know, expert testimony, that phrase is kind of maybe a little unnecessary. Someone who has experience, who is an authority in the area, who can make a recommendation, but without our engineer, who we have hired and are paying to do this, and we've hired and paying you to do this, without you signing off, I'm really leery, so.
Is this system being used anywhere in this region in the country that we can go to somebody and say,
The guy said it was very popular. I think the company or the distributor was out of like St. Mary's or Salina or something, and he said it was much more utilized down there, is what the guy told us at our meeting.
But bear in mind that Commercial Comfort hasn't any customers.
Right.
His vendor of the product
okay.
has customers. And that's a little bit too removed for me. I mean,
Okay, let's not make a decision on this In the meantime, Kevin wondered if we needed him to come to this meeting. He could be here shortly. I don't know that.
I only have one other thing. I've got 14 other items that are a part of what are called PR number 1. They're things that were generated by the owner in the fire department as to changes that they would like to see in fire station number 2. And the architect put together what is called a proposal form and itemized these items and gave them to the contractors for quotations. Either it's more or less or the same. And now the contractors have come back with amounts, dollar amounts for these items, and the board needs to act on it. Now, my thought would be to send this out by email to everyone and then act on it as a, kind of as a one-line item in the Wednesday meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll do that when I get home.
All right.
Good.
All right, that's all I have.
Okay.
All right, since we had a very narrow topic of discussion, we really can't go any further than this, so I will offer, where's the motion number 10-403, motion to adjourn at 1:33.
Second.
Call the roll, Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mrs. Contrada?
Yes.
Those updates are from the G709, the one they sent.